How long is life? I can tell you this, too short. I've done a lot of funerals. I've done funerals for folks in their 20s. I've done funerals for people in their 90s. And no matter who it is, life is too short. The psalmist in Psalm 90 in verse 10 gives us an idea of what an average lifespan might look like. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter. There's just simply not enough time on the earth. And the older I get, the more I look back, oh wow, that wasn't very long ago. 20 years ago. Psalm 90. And I would like for us to look at what the psalmist says in verse 10. The years of our life are 70, or even by reason of strength 80. Yet their span is but toil and trouble. They are soon gone, and we fly away. The psalmist is saying, we're going to fly away, just like Lazarus and the rich man. Our spirit, when Tom Fagan draws his final breath, my spirit is going to depart from this body, and it's going to fly away. It's where we get the song, I'll fly away. Some glad morning, when this life is o'er, I'll fly away. The psalmist says, we fly away. Who considers the power of your anger and the wrath according to fear of you? Teach us, he says in verse 12, to number our days, that we may get a heart of wisdom. Teach us to number our days. Now, like I said, I did a funeral for my own brother. Younger than I am, 32 years old, died in a tractor accident very suddenly. And I've done a funeral for a great uncle of mine who was 94, I believe. Whether we look at age as 70 or 20, it's too short. I want to introduce you to an idea that I heard not long ago. And that idea is, as long as you are alive, you don't really need Jesus on the earth. I want you to think about that for a minute. And as you think about that, I want you to look around you, think in your mind about people you know. For example, politicians. I couldn't think of a more corrupt group of people, so I thought of politicians. Politicians. They're wealthy. They're powerful. Perhaps the most powerful men and women in our great country. But for the most part, most of them are very ungodly people. Yet they've managed to attain all of that without Jesus Christ. So while they're here on the earth, they relatively have no need of Jesus. The rich man. The rich man had no need of Jesus. He had no need of God. He looked out for number one, took care of himself, made himself wealthy, and lived like the rich and famous until he died. Now, it's my personal belief that godly principles will bring peace and joy to our lives while we're here on this earth. And I do believe that they will benefit our lives if we apply godly principles. So I don't want you to get the wrong idea. Show me a politician who's truly happy. Show me a worldly person who is rich and wealthy and has joy and peace. I think we would be very hard pressed to find one who has those without Jesus. However, they can be successful by the world's standards without Jesus Christ until the time of their death. So Jesus is not 100% necessary as long as I'm drawing breath, as long as my heart is pumping blood through my body. Jesus is not 100% necessary for me to live life. I want to introduce you as we turn in our Bibles to the Gospel of John chapter 12. I want to introduce you to what I would refer to, and I meant to bring it with me, but the flashlight theory. I did mean to bring a flashlight with me to demonstrate this morning. John chapter 8 and in verse 12, again Jesus spoke to them saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Now the flashlight theory, my friends, is this. A flashlight is a nice thing to have, right? We use it all the time. And I did mean to bring one with me this morning, because I wanted to bring you a pocket-sized flashlight that I carry with me for this particular demonstration. It's pocket-sized. It has LED light bulbs. It has a beam that you're not supposed to look at. It's so bright. Amazing things. But I never carry batteries in that flashlight. And you know why? Because it's light. What good would a flashlight do me today? You might say, what good's a flashlight without batteries? And you'd be right. But I'll tell you what, it's all in when you use it. You bring your flashlight. You bring one with batteries, Kevin, and I'll bring one without batteries. And tomorrow at noon, we're going to meet here at the building. We're going to shine them across the street and see who shines farther. I'll bet you mine will shine just as far as yours does. You don't need it when it's daylight. You don't need a flashlight during the day. Most folks don't think they need Jesus in their everyday lives either. They can't see the need. Life goes on. Life is fine. Daylight's here. Life is here. Most folks just get caught up in living life. Now look with me at the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 25. Matthew chapter 25 and in verse 1. Here we have a group of individuals. The Bible refers to them as virgins. They're out at a wedding party. We don't have weddings quite like this today, but Jesus is telling us what the kingdom of heaven is going to be like. He says the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. The bridegroom traditionally would come in at night. And the young bridesmaids, we would call them today instead of young virgins, the bridesmaids would line the way to the wedding feast. 5 of them were foolish and 5 of them were wise, Jesus said. For when the foolish took their lamps, they had no oil with them. But the wise took flasks of oil with their lamps. As the bridegroom was delayed, they all became drowsy and slept. But at midnight there was a cry, "Here is the bridegroom. Come out to meet him." Then all those virgins rose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish had no batteries. And the foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil. For our lamps are going out." But the wise answered, saying, "Since there will not be enough for us and for you, go rather to the dealers and buy for yourselves." While they were going to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. Afterwards the other virgins came also, saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But he answered, "Truly I say to you, I do not know you. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour." What Jesus says, we don't know the day, we don't know the hour, we don't know the time when we're going to need salvation. We might be perfectly happy to go through life without Jesus. We might be perfectly happy to go through life just as it is. But we don't necessarily always get a warning sign when life is going to end.